Hi everyone, welcome to Tom's Manshed. Okay, today's video is just going to be another one on 3D printing. Some of the things I've recently printed on my relatively new Elegoo Neptune 3 Pro printer. But it's an emphasis on different sorts of materials. Just PLA, but different properties. Dual colour, glow in the dark, change colour under heat, change colour under ultraviolet light. Now, some of the latter ones, the ultraviolet glow, I skimmed over in a previous video, but I've only just, this past month or two, used the dual colour stuff. Now, it's fascinating. When I first started 3D printing about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm not sure whether it was available. I don't know when it came out. I can't remember it being. But I've seen quite a few prints, and they sort of change colour as you move them, like some of the flip-flop paints on a car do, sort of. And they fascinated me and I wanted to try them out. So I'm going to go through the actual ones I got, show you the models I've printed with them, and then I was going to hold it up to the camera to show you the three colours, but well, I'll show you. As you see, it's a bit hard to see, so I'm going to show it you on my microscope. But yeah, could probably just make it out, but you'll see it much better in a second on this microscope. So first of all, most of the things I tend to print are figurines and stuff like that, superheroes and stuff. I do print loads of reasonably useful stuff. Just done this very nice SD card and USB stick holder, micro, full size, and USB stick in there as well. I'm not going to put links to all these. I'll put links to the filaments, the PLAs, the colours I used from Amazon in the description below, but I'm not going to put link to every single item. I got them all off Thingiverse. If you just do a search on Thingiverse, you'll find them, but there's hundreds there. So yeah, that's the that thing I've made. Another of no use but absolutely fascinated me was this, and it's like an iris. Loads of it's all these are printed, and they're wafer thin, these, and it's printed them beautifully, the printer, and they all go in there, and you sort of, I've greased it up inside now, and it's silky smooth, that movement. So I could use it for drawing circles or whatever, but it's just the movement of it fascinated him. Like I said, mainly this video is about these different coloured, different properties things. First of all, I'll show you what I've got over there. I've already gone through them in a different video. If you check out, I'll put a link up here, and you'll check out that it goes into more detail about the figures behind me. But this shelf above me here is like my new shelf, and that's got these new figures on, so I'll film them now, and I'll just show you them. The beauty is now I can use my camera as well. It's not filming me doing this video, I'm filming on the Insta360 Link webcam that I did a review on recently, so it leaves this free to do stuff like this. I don't have to keep dismantling the tripod like I did before, so I'll go and film them figures now. So I have shown you these before, but I'll just skim over them. These are most of the things I sort of tend to print. This bottom shelf is the Marvel shelf. All these, apart from Hellboy in the middle, are Marvel characters. And these are all, of course, just printed on plain white or any colour PLA. This top shelf are the DC characters. But these are just all painted. So it don't matter what colour PLA you use. You just give it a base coat and undercoat, and painting them. But some figures look good just printed in these things. Again, I've gone over that, like 7 Liberator Starship. I'll be showing you this again in close-up soon, because it is a sort of a specialised filament, but this is like my new shelves I've just put up. So these are all done with the dual filament. I'll show you these in close-up in a minute in front of the camera, and how long each one sort of took and its properties. All them, apart from the yellow one, are sort of special property PLAs. So that's as it sort of stands now, and that's it now. I've finished. I don't want to cram too many in there. It looks untidy if you've got too many. But so let's have a look at some of these specialised dual colour and 3-colour filaments in detail now. Okay, so that's the shelves as they stand now. And so first of all, I'll show you the dual colour and the tricolour filaments. Now, I'll go from left to right. Now, this one is Captain America. And this is done in blue and yellow. So as you can see, it's sort of like blue. And it tends to come and go. It's semi-controllable, where it'll be yellow and where it'll be blue, and a mixture of both, but it's not fully controllable. What I found was, there's like a little test disc you can print online, and but I didn't find it much use really. You're supposed to print this with the filament you're going to be using, and this will tell you where it will be silver, where it will be red. If you look on one side of this cross piece here, it's like red that side and silver the other side. But I found if you just do a test circle around your print bed, you can see whether it's going to be the silver on the left or the silver on the right or the silver on the back or the silver on the front of where you orientate your model. But it is still a bit hit and miss, and I didn't mind that. I like it sort of like higgledy-piggledy all over the place. Here's one of Deadpool, and this is done in the red and yellow. And you can see the detail is, the print quality is fantastic off this printer. You can see the layer lines close up, of course, but all in all, it's great. And there was no stringing or anything like that. So that's Deadpool. So that's a red and a yellow filament, red and gold. Again, I'll show you which one I used, and I'll show you the link to it on Amazon below. I think this is one of my this is my favourite colour out the dual colour ones I got as the set. Get more details in a minute. That's Batman, so it's got blue and silver, that one. Silver is mainly sort of like gone on them two sides. But again, the detail on that is really, really nice. All the teeth, you can see, they're very tiny teeth, and you can see how good the detail is. So that's Batman and Spider-Man. I like this colour as well. This is like a red and a silver. The silver is really nice. You can see the seam line there, but I suppose I could have tried to position that on the back, but that's a nice colour. So they were the 4 I got in the set I'll be showing you soon. In fact, I'll show you that now. So this was it. It's by IEMAI, or I don't know how you pronounce that, IEMAI. But it was like a sort of it was like a taster kit. Again, I'll put Amazon links below, and as I mentioned, they are affiliated links. If you do click on them and buy it or buy any other product, I will get a small commission. The pennies keep the channel going, so it'd be great if you could buy it through them links. But you get 4 different colours. Them colours I've just shown you, and just 4 sort of quarter kilogram spools. So instead of spending, in case you don't like it or want a full amount on a full 1 kilogram spool, they give you 1 kilogram split into 4, so like a quarter of a kilogram, 250 gram spools. And that's what's left after the one of the Spider-Man, and I think I did one more of it. Yeah, I did one more for a friend of that. That's the so it's still got all that left, and that's after the Captain America one. So what is a dual filament, dual colour filament then? Well, what it is, I'll show you here. Like I said, I was going to show you close up, but I'm going to show you now on my microscope. So let's have a look at it through the microscope. Right, so I've got them filaments just stuck in a piece of blue tack end on, and you can see half is made of red and half is made of blue on that one. That's the red and gold one that I did Deadpool on. This red and blue one I haven't shown you yet. I'm going to show you what I did on that one. That was a separate reel. This blue and gold one was part of that in my set. That's what I did the Captain America one I've just shown you on. That's a different one as well. The Batman silver and blue one is there, and the Spider-Man silver and red one is there. Now, while I'm showing you on the microscope, I might as well show it you now. I bought some others when I realised that I really did like the effect these give. I bought some 1 kilogram reels, and I'll show you what I printed on this red and blue one. And I think that's probably my favourite out of them all, that red and blue. I did a really good avatar bust on that, I'll show you. And I got this, and it's like a black and gold. Now I'll show you what I printed on that black and gold, and it's not as nice, I don't think, as the others, the effect. It's okay, but not quite as nice as the others, and I'll show you what I mean now. So that's the close-up view on the microscope. Now the one figurine I didn't show you, like I just mentioned, on the black and gold one, which is here. Bought a full kilogram of this. It'll be in the description. You'll see in the description which one it is, the yellow, the gold and black one. But here's a Darth Vader I did on that. And I'll show you a Groot in a minute as well, baby Groot. But again, okay, it's gold, but it's not a massively shiny gold like the others were. And the black is quite a matte colour. So if you compare it to the Batman one, which is much shinier, I think. And I prefer the really shiny stuff than the matte. But yeah, it's still a nice filament, and the baby Groot looks really good. So yeah, let's have a look at that now. This is the baby Groot I did with it. That's pretty cute, isn't it? Does look a bit shinier on that, the bigger item. All printed the same setting, same temperature and that, so it should. And the silver looks so, yeah, that turned out better than the Darth Vader did, really. But yeah, nice effect going from, and quite appropriate for the Groot, sort of like, it is like vegetation-ish colours, if you will. So yeah, pleased with that. And the dual colour one I showed you. Oops. Now this, out of all the colours, is my favourite, I think. My favourite film of all time is Avatar. And I've yet to see The Way of Water. I haven't seen that yet, I'm looking forward to when to do. But here's an Avatar bust. So obviously not the same blue as the actual thing. And if you wanted an authentic figure, you would just do it in any colour and paint it. But I thought it lends itself to a blue and red colour. And it's really nice. All I've painted is the eyes. But everything else is just the way it comes out, that thing. And I think it looks really, really good. So you can see, yeah, the quality of print this printer is putting out is really, really nice. These bits of hair broke off. The supports weren't very good and they snapped, but it looks okay, just, I think, just like that. So that's the dual colour PLA filament. So I thought, I've tried the dual colour, let's try a triple colour. Now again, under the telescope, under the microscope, I'll show you the triple colour now. So as you can see there, it's 3 colours: green, blue and red. So just like the dual colours, but 3 of them. I'll get the lights a bit better. You can see the three colours pretty clearly there. So I'll just show you now what I made with that. So what I did with that was this Terminator, is it T800 or whatever, head. Now this is the longest print I've done so far, apart from the Liberator, Blake 7 Liberator, which was made in parts like a kit, and the combined print time for all them was probably more than this. But this was 36 hours doing this. Now I picked, there's loads and loads of these on Thingiverse. I picked the one that was done in 3 parts because I thought it print better with less supports, and I hate supports, and there's all sorts of intricate bits around here to do. But I shouldn't have done it. I should have picked one that prints as one, particularly with this stuff, because with it printing like the top there, you can see the seam round it, and you can see it just goes straight from one colour to another because they are printed as different parts in different orientations. So if you're using a multicolour filament like this, I would suggest you find one that prints as one, but you can't really tell from the front so much. But you can see the 3 colours. You've got like the reddy sort of purple there, and the green, and then you got the blue at the back. So without that seam line, it'd have turned out really, really nice. But again, you can't see it too much when it's on the shelf, but if you can imagine that purple blending into the green mildly, the green would have been round the back. So yeah, again, really, really nice effect from that triple colour. All I've done is paint the eyes red on that. So that's the Terminator. So that's all the dual colour and triple colour filaments now. So that's how they are. So yeah, the dual colour one that I did this one, the avatar print on, that is this make, Tin Mori. If you look on Amazon through various makes, you very rarely get a bad one. Even Amazon Basics, I've very rarely had a bad filament, but they go up and down in price like I don't know what. This was quite low. I think it was like £20, something like that, I think. But some of the multicolour ones are very expensive, so just hang around and they go up and down, or choose a different make. But Tin Mori, it printed really well, and so did that make I showed you, IEMAI, whatever. So right, so they're the multicolour ones. Sorry, just to add in, the triple colour was also a Tin Mori one. It's in its bag, but as you can see, if you look inside there, you'll see the green part of it. I'll take it out of the bag, show you a bit there. You get this reusable bag with it as well, so yeah, it's vacuum packed in its own. It's nice. Use this reusable one. But as you can see, you've got like your red and blue showing from the front there, and then as you look through, the inside bit is green there, so that shows you the 3 colours. You've got blue one side. So if you line it up in your, as it comes out your extruder, if you can see that blue is going to be on the left and red is going to be on the right, that's pretty much how it prints. It does move around a bit on the object, but like I said, the effect is great, got being a bit random, but you can never pick it exactly where you want it to print. So right, so they're the multicolour ones. Let's have a look now at more of the specialised sort of, the other sort of colour ones. So this one, now I've shown you this before, but it's a great one to show it on. This one is called Rainbow Colour. Now this prints, I'll show you the actual filament. This is by, I've used these quite a few times, Eri one. It's a nice quality filament. I used up 1 roll of this on a few items that I've done for people. And this is almost a brand new roll, and you can see Unlike the other, which is all red, and red one side, blue one side, and stuff like that, dual colour along its entire length, this varies. So it starts off printing as one colour here, like this pinky purple. And then once it's printed a few metres of that, every sort of 10 metres or whatever, I don't know what the frequency is, it changes to a different colour. So as you can see, it then became this blue. It carried on printing to there, then becomes this green, goes into sort of like a bit of a yellow around here, and finishes off with this browny pink beige sort of colour on the top. You can get metallic ones of these, pastel shades of these, bright pungent colours of these, this one. The only problem with these ones is you only get the effect if it's quite a big part. As you can see, this took, again, this is about 24 hours, I think, print. And having infill and everything, it used quite a lot of filament. So along the way, it changed. If you're only going to be printing small objects, you'll find it maybe only ever gets into 2 colours, so you don't get the full effect. So I would suggest you save this rainbow filament for printing the larger objects, or pick a higher than normal infill rate. I know it's like wasting filament, but if you do want to get that effect, use it up on wasting it on printing the infill. Otherwise, if you do stuff with hardly any infill, it's very small, so you won't get that colour change. Here's a baby Groot. I've just shown you the the gold and black one I did for myself. This is one I did for a friend in this multicolour. I'll dig a picture out now and I'll show it on screen of that. So, like I say, after seeing my gold and black Groot, baby Groot I'd printed, a friend of mine thought he was so cute that she asked me to do one for her. And when I asked her what colour she wanted, she wasn't too bothered, so I thought it'd look ideal in the rainbow PLA. Now, as you can see, I thought I had enough left. It was exactly the same as the roll I showed you, the Eri 1 roll of rainbow PLA, and I looked at it and I thought I've just about got enough, but as you can see there, right near the very, very end of the print, it ran out, and I tried restarting with a new spool of Eri 1, but it was the orange colour it was starting at, and I didn't like the look of that at all. So they see that's where it ran out during the print. Now luckily the Elegoo 3 Neptune Pro has got a run out device on it, which pauses the print, keeps the heated bed going so your print don't come unstuck, and it pauses while you load a new filament in. Like say, that's where it actually ran out. So at this stage I got the other roll of Eri 1 out, threaded it all through, restarted the print going, but like I say, it ended up with that orange tip on it like before, and I just didn't like the look of it. No matter what colour it had started, you would have seen the line being a firm line. So what I did was mix some paint. I'm not a very good painter, but I surprised myself how good it turned out. And I mixed some paint to blend in with the green PLA that it had got up to. And I painted over that browny orange bit. And sort of like use a dry brush technique to blend it in. And as you can see, it's worked out pretty good. You can hardly see the line. Well, you can't see the line at all where it becomes orange, and the paint, I think, looks quite authentic. She would have never have known. I did tell her, I showed her the pictures, but she couldn't tell from first looking where it turned out. But as you can see, it started like orange lower down, like a pinky colour, then went pink, going into a purple, blue and green. So again, you've got about 5 colours here, because it is quite a big print, and I did pick sort of quite high fill level, but yeah, it looks quite good. So that's the specialist ones in respect of colour, changing colour, multicolour, stuff like that. Now there are all sorts of other ones you can get. This one is a colour change on temperature. Now again, you can get them that go from like green to yellow, white to pink, all sorts. This, and I picked the top shelf, as you saw earlier on, are all skulls. Because there's loads and loads of different skulls on Thingiverse. Most of them print without support, so they're good to print. They use up quite a lot of material. I like the look of them, and it's a good way of demonstrating the properties to you. So this one changes colour when it gets hot. So at the moment, this room now is at 21 degrees. But if I hold my hand on here long enough, you might not see it too much. I might have to get a hairdryer out to show you properly, but when it gets hot, or when it warms up, it goes white. No, it hasn't shown you. I'm going to get a hairdryer out now just to show it in a bit. Meanwhile, have a look at it during printing. I filmed it while I was printing it, and obviously you can see blue on the reel, where it's just room temperature, but once it's squeezed through the hot nozzle and onto the heated bed, you'll see it shows as white, and it's quite a good thing. So we'll have a look at that first, and I'll show you this with the hairdryer. And you can see here, this is an hour and a half into the skull print, the colour changing filament, and as you can see, it's coming down to the extruder as blue. There it is, blue on the reel, but once it's gone through the extruder and it's on the heated bed, it's white. So that's a good indication of it. We'll see near the end of the print how far the heat manages to travel up the heated bed into the print. Okay, so here we are 13 and a half hours into this print. You can see the bits near the top and near the front, where they're sort of insulated a bit from the bulk of the body, they are going blue because there's no heat being transferred to them from the base, but the rest of it, where it's solid and it's going through the fill, it's still white because it's still picking up heat from the base. So yeah, 13 hours in, probably another couple of hours to go. Okay, so as you saw there, it on the heat bed and the bit attached to the heat bed, it was white. And at the end of the print, further up, these front bits, which weren't transmitting the heat very well, started going back to blue. But you'll see now, and it'll do this on a very, very hot day. So if you have it in a hot room next to a window and it's getting heat on it, it will start changing the colour. So pardon the noise. So we just do this half. So as you can see, when it gets warm, it changes colour. And quite soon, once it starts cooling down, that'll go back to blue. Now, the brain in here, it's got a brain, and I was wondering what colour to do that, because you don't really see it. But I've used another specialised material for that, so I'll show you that now. So, oops, this is brain. So yeah, I've just had to go looking for the filament. I couldn't find it anywhere. I realised it was still on the 3D printer. So where were we? Yeah, the brain I printed from a marble effect. Now, if you look carefully, this was the most awkward, hard to print with filament I've ever used. If you look, you can see little flecks. Forget all the little strands. I only finished this yesterday. So I haven't got rid of all this, which I can soon get rid of with a heat gun. But the little bits of string. But if you look, there's like little black flecks in there. And it's supposed to make it look, which it does, I suppose, like marble, old marble. And it's made by, it's this one here, by Amolin. And you can see the little specks in it. Now, I bought this years and years ago when I first got my very first printer, me CR10 Mini. And I tried it through the standard 0.4mm nozzle, and it just kept clogging up. All the little black bits, I don't know what they are, whether they're bits of carbon or what, but they are very, very hard. And they just blocked up the nozzle. I tried different speeds, different temperatures, no matter what I did, it just printed for a couple of minutes and then blocked up. Unblocked it, printed another couple of minutes, then blocked up. So I emailed Amolen and told them, I says, it's just terrible, this filament. And they said, oh, very, very sorry. Gave me a full refund and said, keep the filament, which I thought was pretty good of them. They didn't want it returning. So I thought, well, I'm not going to throw it away. I'll one day get round to experimenting. Well, I've just this week, 4 years later, got round to experimenting with it. And I've tried it, I've read up on that, and I tried it on a 0.6mm nozzle. Tried it on a 0.8 as well, but I tried it on a 0.6mm nozzle, so only a bit bigger than the 0.4, and no problems at all. I increased the heat a bit, about 20 degrees above what I was using before, so about 230 degrees, because I found it wasn't the layers weren't sort of sticking together quite enough. So if you are going to use that, I would say use a 0.6mm nozzle and increase the heat and maybe slow it down a bit from like 6 to 5. Once I did all that, it printed this no problem at all. So again, I've included that here, even though it's not colour changing or anything. It is a speciality PLA, so I've included that. So yeah, not something I'm going to use that often, but with a 0.6 nozzle, it does print fine. So the other colour changes, we're almost getting there. I've only got 2 to go now, I think. This one is, and they call this, hang on, I'm just going to have to look it up. Yeah, so this style is called Voronoi. I'll put it down here how it's spelt, but Voronoi. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, I think that is it, right? Style. This sort of like lattice work, open, quite wide gaps. This can be a bit of a pig to print, not the filament, but this shape. Use quite a lot of Z-hop when you're doing this, because your print head can hit other bits of it, I found halfway through, but it printed this fine, as you can see. And this is glow-in-the-dark filament. Now this is this one. Yeah, glow-in-the-dark blue, this, by Zero. Again, I've had this a long time. I've had this about 3 years, and it still works. It still glows in the dark. And you charge it up with ultraviolet light. So I've just bought this. I'm unsure whether to do a review on it. I had this ultraviolet light, but I've just got this better ultraviolet light, both at different frequencies. If anybody wants me to do a review of the different 365 nanometers and 395 nanometers and how different they are and how better they detect UV stuff, let me know. But that's the older one. That puts out more visible light with its ultraviolet, as you can see. And this is the pure UV one. Hardly any visible light comes out. You can see that on camera. I can't see that hardly at all with my eyes. But this newer one is much, much better at detecting things you want to detect with the UV light. So, don't know whether it's worth doing a review on these, but if you do want one, anybody just put a comment in. If even one says they want me to do it, I'll do it. But what you do, you charge this up with either light under your light, but the glow-in-the-dark things charge better with ultraviolet. And I'm going to do this a bit longer in a bit and sort of like probably fully charge it and then quickly go into the room behind me, set up my camera and film it in there, but because you're not going to notice it here. I can see it glowing under my desk, but that's no use to you. So I'll set that up and do it in the shed in a minute. So yeah, glow in the dark, and you can get multicolour glow in the darks as well. Down the real red, pink, blue. I think they are quite expensive then, but they do look pretty good on some of the models they've shown. But Again, prints beautifully. You know, I've not had any problem other than that marble one with any of these PLAs printing anything different than any other. So I'll set up this, I'll charge it up with ultraviolet, and I'll set up my camera behind and we'll go and have a look at it in the dark. So this is the skull, the glow-in-the-dark skull. I've had it out in the sunlight for about a couple of minutes. Bright sunlight. It's early afternoon, so it's getting loads of UV light. And I'll also, again, use my UV torch, the better of the two UV torches, to sort of charge it up, and then we'll turn this light out and you'll see it. I'll just shut the door in now. So we're in the observatory now. So if I turn that off, so there. So yeah, as you can see, it's probably brighter in the camera than it is to the naked eye. Doesn't look that, definitely that bright to me, but I can definitely see it glowing, and it is bright enough to reach adjacent parts. And again, this filament is quite a few years old, so it's not run out quite yet. As you can see, it's been about a minute now and it's still glowing, so yeah, pretty effective. I'll keep filming this. We'll see what it's like after about 5 minutes. Okay, this is 5 full minutes later. Camera picking it up better than I thought, actually. So it looks actually brighter on the camera than to the naked eye. I can make out it is glowing with the naked eye, but I can't see any massive sort of features. But yeah, it shows it is. Some of the thicker parts are holding the glow a bit better, obviously. But yeah, it's as good as any sort of like watch, really, I've seen. So yeah, that's after a full five minutes in the dark. So yeah, hopefully that showed you it glowing in the dark. Very, very hard to sort of film something that dim, but yeah, it does actually work. But I think my favourite out of them... Oh, I'll just show you this skull as well. This is not any special colour, but it's just while I'm showing you the skulls. Again, how nice is that print from this printer? Just look how sort of accurate it is. And there was no stringing at all on this. Came out absolutely beautiful. You know, but that's just a gold PLA, no special colour. But I think my favourite out of these colour changing and the effect it has is this. This is one that changes colour under ultraviolet light. So again, I can show you with the ultraviolet torch. But wait till you see in a minute when I take it out into the daylight how instantly and how good it changes. But there we are now. I'm behind a blind now, and even with the blind open, the glass is stopping a lot of the UV light coming in. But if I just put this UV light on it here, look at that already. The way that goes, I think that's really, really effective. And quite a good measure of how much UV light is hitting you in the car or whatever, if you wanted to test how good the UV blocking film or your sunroof or whatever is on your car. Print a model like this. So I'm going to wait for this to die down, and then I'm going to put it in that cardboard box behind me and take it out and show you in sunlight, and again how immediately it changes in real sunlight. So let's go and do that now. Okay, so I've got that skull here and it's box shielded from the light. I'm now going to take it out, just watch how quick it changes under sunlight. So before I could even get it out of the box, you can see how deep a colour it has gone. If we just walk quickly to the shed, you can see there how beautiful it looks. If we put it back up on its shelf, it's still pink, but slowly now it's out of the sunlight, you can see it going back white again. So yeah, I think that's the most stunning of all the effects. So yeah, that's it. I hope it's been of some help in helping you decide if you are going to get any of these special fun, I'd call them fun, PLA filaments. Yeah, I really like them. Like I say, it's only the marble one, the brain one here, that I had trouble with, but once we went up to a 0.6mm nozzle, it will do it okay. But the colour ones all printed fantastic. So my only advice would be, like I say, if you are going to use the rainbow one, like on the big skull that changes colour along, pick a large object. If it's not a large object but you do want it to change colour quite a lot, use quite a lot of infill. Okay, you're wasting filament, but it's the only way to use it up and get to the next colour. Don't use the rainbow stuff on the small, tiny ones. I've had a look for different manufacturers of the rainbow stuff, hoping some would change colour a lot more frequently, and some claim to, but it doesn't appear that way when you look at the measurements. I wish there's some that change very, very quickly, so you could get quite a quick colour change. But so far, if you're aware of any, put them in the comments. A really quick change, one would just say a couple of meters of each colour before it goes back to the other colour again, and then even on small ones you will get that colour change. Might look a bit stupid on a big one, tons and tons of colour changes, but for smaller models it would be ideal, so you could buy a reel of each different type. But the one that is, the ones like the main ones I made this video about, these little tiny ones that I put under the microscope, the dual, they are fantastic because they change colour as you twist them around, and great. And I know I've already showed it, but like I said, this is my favourite one, and I think the colours on that are just stunning. I prefer that to even the three coloured one. That's my favourite one of them all, the blue and red one. So yeah, like I say, I'll put links to all the filaments I've demonstrated. If I can't, some of them are quite old, like I said, they glow in the dark and they change under ultraviolet and they change under heat. I've had for quite a while, so if that particular make isn't on Amazon now, I'll put a link to a similar one. But these I've bought recently, so these will still be there. So I'll put links to all the filaments used down below, and once again they are affiliated links. I get a tiny commission if you do buy something. I won't put links to the actual models because there's far too many. Just go on Thingiverse, do a search for Avatar Bust or Baby Groot, and you'll see hundreds and hundreds on there, and pick the one you like. So yeah, really, really good fun. If you want total scale for things, you're going to have to paint them like my other shelf to be authentic. But if you just want a bit of fun and a dual colour Batman or Spider-Man or whatever, or anything that lends itself to that doesn't have to be a particular colour, I think they are really, really good. And like I said, that ultraviolet, one goes pinky red in ultraviolet light. 3 years on, it's as good as it was from new. So yeah, great, well worth getting. So like I said, I hope it's been of some use. Please give me a thumbs up if it has. Please give me a thumbs down if it hasn't. If you haven't subscribed, please click the little picture here of the shed. And once you've done that, click the bell icon below and you'll get informed of any new uploads. I'll be back with another one as soon as I think of something to do. Thanks for watching this one. Bye for now.